Hi, this is John with CoachYouths. In this video I'm going to walk you through some of the features of the CoachYouths Football Playbook Designer. As you can see, I've logged in and I'm at my dashboard. From the dashboard you can manage your entire account. You can manage your playbooks, your formations, your teams, and then any of your account settings. As you can see, it's telling me I haven't created any playbooks. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to run through briefly how to create a playbook. We'll have other videos to go into more detail on all the features. So here we go. We're going to create a playbook. First thing I need is a name, so I'm going to put in a demo playbook for my name. The type of playbook we can draw for offense or defense, and then we can choose the player count. We can adjust the player count as low as 5 and all the way up to 12. So this will cover everything from flag football to Canadian football. So I'm going to go ahead and go with a basic 11-man standard American football formation. So I'm going to create playbook. We've got our new playbook now. So here's our name of our playbook. We can rename it at any time. Our main navigation menu, if we want to go back to the dashboard or go to our formations, playbooks, or our teams. On the left we have a toolbar. We can save. We can choose a play. If we had any plays on this view right here, there would be a grid of all the plays we have. The playbook settings, from here we can adjust permissions. So if you want to share your playbook with your team, if you have any teams, they'll be listed here and you'll be able to enable them or disable them. On the permissions over here, for each team, you'll be able to choose whether you want to allow coaches, players, and permissions to have different levels of access. The next one over here, we can add play. Pop a little menu, we can enter the play name and the formation we want to use. We can import a play. So if we had multiple playbooks and there were a play in one playbook that we wanted in this new playbook, we could hit import and we'd be able to select that play and import it in without having to redraw it. And then download. Once we have some plays in our playbook, we're able to go to the download page and it'll have a list of downloads available. Currently there are none because we haven't created a play yet. So let's go back to the playbook grid, choose play, and we'll go ahead and add a play. You can also add a play right there at any time. So I want this play to be named Demo Play. And then I'm going to choose my formation. Right now there's a list here of all the formations that are preset formations that we include. At any time you can create your own formation to use in any of your playbooks, and we'll go over that later. So for this play I'm just going to do a basic I formation. And now we have our play. So I'm going to click on the play and now it's loaded in. Now in this menu we still have a save button that we can save our playbook. We have this button that's the play editor, which is where we're at right now, which will have the field background and all of our players. We can go to edit assignments, which is where we can provide text, the assignment text for each of our players. And then there's tutorial mode, which will allow us to animate our play. We can play it, we can go backwards, we can pause it, we can go forward, we can rewind. And we can adjust the speed all the way to 10, all the way back down to 1, or 2, which would be pretty slow. So we kind of do a slow motion. Just leave it at 5 for now. So we'll go back to the play editor. First thing we want to do is show that we can click on any player or touch on a touch screen, and it'll select them. You'll see the red box around the player that's selected. When the player is selected, as you can see, there's a toolbar that appears down here that we can change the player's label. So I could change that to WR, or the player's type. We can also add a straight route, a curved route. We have preset routes and a zone route. If we want further settings, we can click on that little icon and it'll expand, and we can change the style, the color, the thickness, and the endpoint for that player's routes, as well as provide assignment text or change the player settings. So if we didn't want my players to be black and white, we could change them to say red and white, or blue and yellow, or any of the colors that are available. And we can adjust the player's relative speed in tutorial mode so that we could have a wide receiver say have a speed of 8 and an offensive lineman say have a speed of 4. And then here we have our precise movement tools. which will move the player 1 pixel every time you click it if you really want to get precise alignment of your players. Speaking of alignment, when we select our player to drag him around, as you can see, I can align him vertically there, and the grid lines, when they align perfectly, the Y, he's highlighted green. If I want to align him vertically to the Y, or horizontally to the Y, and vertically with the 2, I would drag until I had both of these players highlighted. Another way to move your players around is if he's selected, you can move him up, down, left, or right just by hitting the keyboard. And if you hold the key, it'll move faster for you. Okay, so let's put him back over here. Now we're going to add some routes. So let's say my split end, my X, I want him to run a post route. Well, there's 2 ways to do that. We can add a straight line, then add another straight line, and we have a basic post route. Now that you see we have a route here, this button right here, we can click it and it'll clear the routes. So now that we've cleared it, still want him to have a post route, but we have a post route as a preset. So I can hit the preset, I have a post route. Now I can adjust it however deep I want it. Change the angle. Another feature you'll see here is we have routes. Well, let's say I want to flip that route. Instead of a post, I want him to run a corner. I can just flip that. Next type of route we can draw is a curved line. So let's say I want him to do a drag or a cruise route across the middle. I can just draw that curved line. Now you see the difference is a curved line will have 2 control points. One here you can use to adjust the curve itself, and the second is you can adjust the endpoint for the route. You can see it's very easy to drag around and get the exact curved line that you want. So that's good. So adjusting the player's route further, we can come in here, and let's say I wanted this route to be dashed, and I want it to be blue. And this one, I want it to be thin, and I want it to be red. So there's all kinds of customizations you can do to the routes. In addition, we can adjust each route segment separately. So if I want to adjust this end section of the route, I can click on the endpoint and you'll see the route menu pop up over here. I could add a further straight line or curved line to the end of this route, or I could change just this segment. So let's say I want the first segment to be dashed, but the last segment there, I actually want that to be solid. And there we go. So that's the basics of route drawing. Like I said, you can adjust the players' colors. So if I wanted my players to be solid red with white text and a white outline, there we go. Now some features we have up here, we can copy this play. So if we had a play that we already liked but we wanted to tweak it a little bit to be a separate play, we would just copy it, give it a new name, and then go into our new play and make our adjustments. If we have multiple plays in our playbook, we can come up here and we can switch plays. You can scroll this back and forth to go through all your plays, or you can also just go back and it'll take us back to the grid page here. So we don't want to switch plays. The next feature we have here is we have to arrange. So we can flip our play, and you can see that'll flip. We went from eye right to an eye left, flip it back to the eye right, and we can also center on the field, so so that our play is exactly center. So if you'll see, if you click Align Center, it'll tell us that we need to select a player. And what that means is we need to know which player you want it to center to. So if I want my center to be the centermost player on the field, I would select my center and hit Align Center, and you can see it shifted him to the center. But if I wanted my left tackle to be center, I can do that as well. And now our play is centered with the left tackle in the exact center of the field. Let's go back. I want him centered. Another movement tool we have is if no players are selected, we can shift the player or the entire formation left and right. Or if we have a player, we can shift him individually. Now the next cool feature we have is the ability to use for game planning. So if you draw up your entire basic playbook, say an offensive playbook against air, no defense, then from week to week you can come in and you can add the defense that you're going to be playing. So saying this week we're playing someone that we know runs a 5-3 most of the time. So add that defense on here. And then we could adjust any of our, say, blocking schemes or routes for each play based on the defense. And then the next week we could come in here, we could remove that defense, add another one. You could also create multiple copies of each playbook. One playbook could be drawn up against a 5-3, another copy could be drawn up against a 4-4, and etc. So this gives you a lot of options for game planning. So we've made some changes. We're going to go home over here and we're going to save. It'll tell us our playbook has been saved, and so we're good to go. So we can go back to our playbooks. It'll ask you to double check. This menu here will pop up even if you've just saved, because we want to make sure that you don't lose any of your work. So if you know you've already saved it, you can just hit no. If you think you might need to resave it, go ahead and resave it. It'll save it and then exit you out there. So now we're back to our main playbook page. Earlier, if you remember, it showed us that this was empty. But now we have a playbook and we can go back and edit it. We were just in there. We can add another playbook here. So inside of our playbook, one of the features we didn't talk about earlier was the copy. Now that we have some plays in here, let's create a copy of it. We created a copy. Now it's asking, do we want to switch? Yeah, we want to switch to it. So now this is nice because remember earlier I showed you that for game planning we could draw against defenses. So here we're in our copy of our playbook. Let's go in here and add, we want this to be against the 5-3. Add and save. Now let's go back to our playbooks again. So now you can see we have two playbooks. One has our plays, the demo playbook that we drew, and the other has our demo play that we drew against the 5-3. And you could do this, like I said earlier, for all of your playbooks, for all of your different opponents for the season. Now the next thing I want to go over with you is formations. It's telling us that we have not created any formations, so we can create our own, or we can go to the presets. And here are the presets. Here's the I formation that we used earlier in our demo play. And we can select based on the player type or player count and the type of formation. Currently we only have formations for 11-man football as presets. Hopefully in the future we can get some good formations put together for all the different variants. So if I want to create my own formation, I would just come over here to add formation. I'd provide the name, offense, player count, and create formation, just like I did when I created my playbook. And that'll give me a formation that I have to start from scratch and completely align. But let's say there's one of these preset formations that are pretty close to what I want. I just want to modify it a little bit. I can create a new one by copying. So let's say I want to make this. So instead of just having the basic I right, I also wanted to have an I left formation ready to go as a preset. So anytime I wanted to create a play, I'd have my I left formation ready to go. Well, I've got a basic I right here. I'm going to flip it. Now I have an I left. I can save my new formation. And I could have done anything here. I could have moved them over manually. I could have drawn this formation however I wanted it. But just an example, I took the I right, turned it into an I left, and now I have my own I left formation. And see, here's in my formation list is my I left, and in the presets I still have the basic I formation. The next thing I want to go over is teams. We don't have any teams, so let's create a team. So I'm just going to call it my team, put in whatever team name is obviously your team name. And now we have my team. So teams are a good tool. You can share your playbooks with your players, parents, and other coaches. So let's go to edit team. We have your team name. And over here we have some different icons. So coaches, you can manage your coaches. This table would show you all the active coaches you have. And right here you can invite a coach. You just provide the first name, last name, and email, hit invite coach, and it would send the coach an email with instructions on how to join your team. Managing players works the exact same way. This would be all the players. You can invite a player the exact same way. And parents, if you want some of your parents to have access. Or if you want to have all your parents have access and them give access to their children. Or if the older groups, you may just directly invite the players and not invite the parents, or do a little bit of both. That's up to you. And the last thing to go over in this video is your account page. You got a lot of settings on your account page. From here you can change your plan. This account I'm using is currently on the 3-coach plan, so I can have myself and 3 other coaches have access to this, but I can change it at any time. You also can set up your payment method, and you can view any of your invoices here. So I'm currently on the trial plan, so there's really no invoices here, but when you have invoices, it'll show you the full invoice detail here. You view your usage. So it's showing me I've only used 1 coach myself, so I can use 2 more. And all of our plans come with unlimited playbooks, unlimited teams. And then my profile, you can go in there and change your name, email address, password, security question, all that good stuff. You can also access that from any of the menus by coming here to my profile. So let's go back to the dashboard. So as you can see, now that we've created some playbooks, it's got a list of our recently created playbooks and the ones that we worked on most recently right here as soon as we log in. So that's a lot of the basic features. There's going to be other videos that go into more detail on that, but this will give you a good idea of the capability of the CoachYouths Football Playbook Designer. So I hope the video was helpful, and if you have any questions, please contact us. Thank you.